Maria Berg, and I live in the St. Francis house. That's in Lakewood in Dallas, Texas. And while I live in the house, I also work full-time in an architecture office designing healthcare buildings. But what I do in the house is equally, if not more important than what I do at my job. Living in an intentional community is something that feels very natural to me. I grew up in a Catholic home, and both of my grandmothers actually provided table hospitality in their homes just as part of what they did. My one grandma is Polish, the other one's Italian, and in the old country, that's just what you did. And so I grew up in a family that lived in ordinary suburbs and went about ordinary life and kind of missed that they'd grown up with, that sense of community and hospitality that should just be. And so as I grew up and grew older, I found that the church made sense when it had a social context, and that's when I started realizing that church was important. And I found that in the Catholic Worker. Dorothy Day became my older sister, for lack of a better word, and for a little bit of a lack of humility there. She taught me what it was important. She started Houses of Hospitality in the Depression and reached out to her neighborhood and founded a newspaper that informed people across the country of what Christianity meant in a modern world. And today she's being considered to be a saint. So with that, with my family and with Dorothy Day, I found that this idea of intentionally living together in our neighborhoods as witnesses was something I wanted to do, something I felt called to do. And then as I grew up further, I started to live in awareness of the monastic communities around me. My family both knew Trappists, not Benedictines, Trappists, that we were pretty close to. And we also were close to the Franciscans in Cincinnati, Ohio. And so I lived among a couple Franciscan brothers as a part of campus ministry in college and got to know their rule of life and just the rhythm of the day and welcoming the different times of the day. Just felt natural, it felt right. Surely when we wake up in the morning, we should say thank you. And surely when we go to bed at night, we should say thank you again, but also please watch over these things that would keep me up at night. So that rule of life is a good grounding, a good way of remembering what is important and remembering that we're never far from God. So why does this matter? We just talked a lot about why it matters to me, but why does it matter to you, and why does it matter to the church and the world? For me, it's been very interesting living alongside a number of the communities for the last 3 years now, and watching how it changes us. It changes all of us in the communities, but I also live alongside Bonhoeffer House, which outreaches to the homeless, and it's been amazing to watch how my presence and attention matters to those who have very little. It's interesting to watch as I walk alongside Cochrane House as well and see how friendships between the houses matter and how that encourages us to go further in our individual houses. And then beyond that, while we're still very young and we don't in our community and we have not met most of our neighbors, just the idea that we matter to them and they matter to us is beautiful and makes it so much easier to do things that might have been hard, and makes me aware that what I do matters beyond myself. And that sort of accountability is very important. And I believe just that desire to make it better, that desire and that belief that it can be better, in and of itself does start to make it better, make our world better.